Hey guys, so we are now in the era of the newly created FNAF CU, or the Five Nights at Freddy's cinematic universe, kind of like what we have with Marvel. So clearly, the movies are going to stick to a very similar story as the games. Um, but obviously, if you've seen the movie, you know that things are tweaked a little bit, things are changed. So we kind of have to theorize and work those into the story. Um, so obviously, there's going to be more movies. I'm sure they're already starting the second movie, which I can't wait for. If you haven't seen the movie, I highly recommend it. Is it the best movie? No, but it's really fun. It really is. Whether you're a fan of the series or not, whether or not you have any idea who Scott Cawthon is, it's still a fun movie. Um, but as I was saying when I was talking about the movie the other day, the theorist part of me was sitting there like, okay, wait, okay, so is this foreshadowing for like the next is, and there's an Easter egg, is that going to come in? So I just, so here's what I think the plan for the future of the FNAF CU is going to be. So first we have the Schmidt family, which Mike Schmidt is an alias of Michael Afton in the games. But here he's his own separate character, and Michael Afton's role is being taken by Vanessa, who is the daughter of William Afton. So I'm assuming whatever happens to Michael in the games is going to happen to Vanessa. So Vanessa essentially, eventually, is going to die. Whether being scooped or some other horrific thing, she's going to die at some point. Um, but I think after she wakes up from her coma or whatever, she's going to believe that her dad's gone and she's going to set out. She knows where all the locations are, so she's going to set out to these other locations to try to free the spirits of all the other kids that he's killed. Um, and of course, him being William Afton and him always come back. Um, he's going to make things a little difficult. Mike and Abby, uh, that family kind of represents more of the Afton family, even though they're not related. But you have Mike, who is the parallel of Mike. But he is the main character, so I don't think he's going to die. So you have Michael, the older brother. You have Abby, who is technically the middle child now. And then you have the crying child, or Garrett in the movie. So Garrett dies in the movie, right? Abby was close to dying, but her name Abby is also an anagram of baby. And since this family kind of represents almost like the Aftons, uh, William builds baby, and he tells her. I mean, this is at a point where I don't think he's truly evil yet, but he tells her, "Don't get close to her." And what does Elizabeth do? She's like, and then baby grabs her, and she dies. So she dies. So I don't think it'll be the second movie, but at some point they're gonna get to the location where they find baby, and it's not gonna be known at first. Vanessa will say, "Oh yeah, I remember my dad building this, and he just told me to never go near her. I think he was just afraid that it might grab me." Where she doesn't know about the stomach compartment of the Fun Time animatronics. But she'll say, "Oh yeah, it's looks like it's out of order and it's not working." And then just as they leave the room, Abby starts to hear something coming from baby, and it's like, "Oh, I thought this one wasn't working." And as soon as it gets close, whap, snatches her up. Um, but and then I think Vanessa, like I said, she's possibly going to die since she's taking the place of Michael. Michael gets scooped, and then all the animatronics kind of shove parts of them inside of him, and he's like, and then every day he's just like, you know, and then eventually he spits them all out, and then he just kind of you know, is resurrected as Purple Guy. Um, so I think she's probably going to suffer the same fate. Henry will obviously be introduced at some point, considering, everything's kind of started with him. He's the one who kind of started this whole Freddy Fazbear thing, and Afton came on as a partner. Um, so we will be introduced to Henry, and most likely Henry Emily is, I mean, that's his name in the books. William's name was first introduced in the books, and then it became his canonical name in the games. So it's safe to assume that Henry Emily will be Henry's name, full name when he shows up. Um, but he also has a daughter, of course. That could be changed. Second movie, I think we will be introduced to the puppet. I mean, the first one's kind of like based on the first game, so the second one should have some toy animatronics, which means we will meet the puppet, who is also inhabited by a spirit, which is the spirit of Henry's child. Um, but I think also seeing Balloon Boy in this movie, uh, it's saying, yeah, we're doing a second one. Even though it's a Easter egg, and it's so random because he keeps popping up throughout the movie. Like 4 times he pops up. It's probably the biggest cameo of anything in that movie. He gets more time, more screen time essentially than the YouTubers who pop up. Like four pop-ups of. So, um, we also get to see the Mangle, which I think will be amazing because Mangle also a really cool character. you know, Starts out as like a foxy type thing, and kids are just ripping it apart because they don't know how to keep their hands to themselves. And then this restaurant's like, well, they keep doing this, so let's just have it as a take apart, put back together, fun project for the kids. Um, but the Mangle didn't like that. But we will be introduced to Puppet, which I'm pretty eager for because the puppet is pretty creepy. It can go anywhere it wants, it can do anything it wants. But unlike Golden Freddy, who pretty vengeful, I think in Ultimate Custom Night it was shown that Golden Freddy, or Cassidy, the one who inhabits Golden Freddy, is very vengeful, and they just don't want to let go. And they don't want William to rest, or, let go of all this anger they have. Um, Whereas the puppet is more of the protector. I mean, you remember the mini game, Give Gifts, Give Life. The puppet is the protector. It's not really vengeful, but it's also not going to tolerate your bull crap. If you try to hurt those under its protection, you're going to suffer. But it's not a vengeful spirit like Cassidy is. In the movie, you see the child who's Golden Freddy. They don't have names. They're just kind of blonde hair boy, kid with bunny ears. That's how they're named in the credits. But the one playing Cassidy, or we'll just call him Cassidy for sake of argument here. Sake of the argument, we'll just say Cassidy. But Cassidy seems very nice at first. Mike's like, "Oh yeah, please help me," and this and that, and then we see him take this like turn, and you realize he's not so nice as compared to maybe the others who might be willing to let things go. Um, but we see the final scene with Springtrap in the room, and again, Cassidy's kind of like a jigsaw type figure there. He's at the door and he closes it, and it's almost like a game over. But he's sitting there and smiling, delighting in seeing that Afton is suffering. So I think Golden Freddy or Cassidy will have a role to play. But the puppet will definitely show up. I mean, they kind of have to. The puppet is kind of the reason for everything, essentially. Henry's going to show up. Abby, I believe, is going to die and become baby. Um, Vanessa is probably going to die. I mean, it's like, oh, well, why would they kill her off? They almost killed her off the first time. That doesn't mean anything. That doesn't mean anything in movies. You know, it might take longer for her to die, but saying, oh, well, she's already come close to death. They're not gonna, no, that doesn't mean anything. It's just going to take her longer to die. Um, or Mike does die. He does kind of have take that role of Mike in the games. Like maybe it's his life or Vanessa's, and he kind of heroically jumps in the way, and he's the one who dies. Maybe she's getting about to get scooped or something, and he's in the room with her. He's down. He jumps up and he runs over, and he's the one who gets scooped instead. Either way, I think they're gonna try to mimic the Afton family in these movies, despite the fact that they're not related to William. So actually, it's possible that Vanessa may not be the one to die. I think that even though Mike's kind of the main character, it's possible he's not. He's the one who's going to die. And as much as I hate main characters dying, it happens all the time. I mean, one of my favorite animes, Yu Yu Hakusho, starts with the main character already dead. And then not only that, he dies again, essentially, almost at the not the end of the series, but to go into the Demon King arc, the Three Kings arc and all that. He dies again, but he kind of like comes back, is more as, inherited his demonic power and stuff like that. So I don't like when main characters die. It's like think of Naruto. The show was called Naruto. Imagine if Naruto died. That'd be stupid. But now we have Boruto, which Naruto could have a chance of dying. But to kill off main characters, it's fun when done right. But I think there's going to be a choice, and Mike's going to sacrifice himself. At this point, I think Abby will already be. Actually, that could even be the thing that triggers it. Abby is now baby, and she's about to take out Vanessa. Who's like, oh, it's your father's fault. He built me. He put me through. He torment and blah blah blah. And as she's about to kill Vanessa, Mike jumps in the way. But then we can see this like really great internal struggle and just, kind of like cut to like the inner thoughts of baby, and we can see Abby, just like breaking down and trying to fight for control over baby now. So I think Mike is actually going to die. Yeah, I take back what I said about Vanessa. I think Mike is going to die. Because it would mimic the Afton family. Everyone in the Afton family dies. The crying child, Elizabeth, Michael, they all die. William dies. Of course, again, they're not related in the movie. But and I think the finale of the series should end with sister location. That kind of scenario where or not sister location, rather, but Pizzeria Simulator, where you have Henry and just gathering all these animatronics with these lingering spirits into one place and just burning them. But then we know what kind of happens. William Afton, I always come back, survives burning somehow. And of course they could tease that at the end. But if that's where they chose to end it, where they chose to have all these lingering spirits in one place to burn them, but then like the final scene, the post credits, they show William, survive somehow, and they just ended it there with no more movies, I think we'd still be happy about it. But yeah, I think the main point is Vanessa's gonna wake up. Some people think Vanessa's gonna wake up. She's gonna be like Vanny now, where she's gonna be like, I serve William Afton. He is the one true ruler and the god of all. Kind of like that thing. Like she's gonna forget who she is, and she's gonna be evil. But I think she's gonna wake up and really feel bad about what she's done to Mike, or rather what her father has done to Mike. And she's gonna like, okay, well, my dad's out of the way. I can go around to all these uh restaurants and kind of destroy what he's created. Um, but William is still alive, and he gets in the way, and Mike will end up dying. Abby will end up dying. Um, and then hopefully we leave on a cliffhanger of everything being resolved, but Mr. I Always Come Back survives. And that will be the end of the FNAF universe. Or, cinematic universe. But hey, that's just a theory. A film theory. And cut. No, but yeah, that's just something I've been thinking about since I saw the movie. Since we know it's going to be a series, it's fun to theorize what's going to happen in them. But yeah, Mike's probably going to die. Abby, again, anagram of baby. Um, she's going to die. Vanessa is going to change into Vanny at some point. Um, Probably when her father ends up showing back up. So that's why she was so afraid of helping Mike the first time. It's like, I'm not going to be any use to you. Trust me. Because she's under his influence. All he has to do is like a trigger word. And it's like, I serve William Afton. You know? Um, we'll see the puppet, hopefully, the next movie. That would make the most sense. Unless they want to wrap up the whole Golden Freddy thing. Because despite the fact that Cassidy was really a part of it, and the reason why Abby was put into danger, they really didn't do a whole lot with the whole Golden Freddy thing. Um, but yeah, that's just what I think is going to happen. Um, Let me know what you guys think. If you, who do you honestly, who do you think has a better chance of dying? Who is it going to be? Mike, who will take the place of Michael Afton, even though they're not related. He's gonna that whole family is going to kind of follow the fate of the Aftons. So Abby's going to die, become baby. Mike's, even though he's the main character essentially, he's going to die. Or do you think it's going to be Vanessa, since she's Afton's daughter, and his children tend to die too? So let me know what you think. Who's gonna die? William, Vanessa, or Mike? Um, what do you hope to see in the next movie? How many movies do you hope there is in this whole FNAF cinematic universe? And would you be okay with them all burning and having that post-credit scene of William surviving? Let me know. Anyway, that's going to do it for me. You guys know the drill. I'll see you guys later. Bye, guys.